Thank you for joining us today in the very first episode of Handmade in America. Here at Handmade in America, we show you interesting, unique, and exciting pastimes. Whether you're interested in picking up a hobby, finding a way to bond with a loved one, or just want to see the way something you never knew could be made at home is indeed made at home, then you came to the right place. I'm your host, Jordan Nelson. We all have things that make us unique, and here at Handmade in America, we take pride in bringing to the public the side of America not often seen, the passions of everyday Americans. Who knows, you just might find a craft you never knew you would excel at. We got a great show for you today, folks, where we will see how one man crafts his own wooden fingerboards. Never heard of a fingerboard before? A fingerboard is a miniature skateboard that is operated with your fingers, although they are made much the same way as real skateboards. First, let's talk about beer. No, not drinking it, making it, or brewing it to be specific. According to the American Home Brewers Society, an estimated 1.2 million Americans brew their own beer at home, a fast-growing pastime that you can start to do yourself for typically around $200. Let's take a look at how it's done. Well, that almost looks like an experiment from chemistry class. It definitely looks like it took some effort, but if it goes well, the result can be well worth it. Unfortunately, once you funnel all the legendary lager out of your carboy and close the lid, It'll be an average of 2 weeks before your concoction is ready to be enjoyed. I guess it just goes to show, in this passion, patience is key, just like our next craft. A novelty item that started as a keychain sold in skateboard shops in the mid-80s, then started a trend that landed rideable fingerboards in stores worldwide. Now 25 years later, fingerboards are a worldwide sensation. Although they are now widely popular in Europe and Asia, one Milwaukee man keeps the tradition alive, right in his own home. From the mold to when it rolls, let's see how to craft a wooden fingerboard right at home.
Styrene acrylic polymer, commonly used as body filler, a resilient yet moldable medium is created to give the board its tip, tail height, and concave. In a well-ventilated area, the styrene acrylic polymer is mixed with a hardener cream. Once mixed thoroughly, the extremely viscous material is deposited into a 4.5 by 2 inch box. Then left to dry for an approximate 24 hours. After the styrene acrylic polymer is cured, the decktician carefully taps it out of the box with a hammer. A lengthy process, however, is made possible by lining the box with tape before inserting the mix. Once the block of styrene acrylic polymer is released by the box, the decktician sands down both ends to give the board its tip and tail. This particular mold will create a directionally shaped board, or a board with a different angle from the nose to tail, as opposed to a twin tip construction in which the nose and tail are the same angle. The concave, or slope from left to right side, is then shaped by hand. It is then reinserted into the 4.5 by 2 inch box. The second batch of styrene acrylic polymer is mixed and added on top of the newly shaped portion. Once dried, the bottom will then be a perfect inverse to the top. After proper drying time is allotted, the mold is removed. Luckily, the decktician covered the top half of the mold in tape to prevent the two from forming together during the drying process. 5 4 by 1.5 inch pieces of wood veneer are then glued together. Placed into the mold and clamped down. Once dried, the newly bonded veneers are removed from the mold. An outline is laid on the board. And the decktician shaves the board by hand to give it its shape.
These fingerboards have come a long way from being just 5 pieces of wood. How interesting is it to see how these individuals can create something all their own when they have the idea that driven to become reality. I hope after seeing these hard-working folks do what they love, we have inspired you to get out or stay in and do what you love. No matter what, keep creating and reviving the ingenuity within us all. I'm Jordan Nelson, thanking you once again for joining us on Handmade in America.